Ah! What's Gucci with it, veterans, YouTube troops? Hey, today we're going to be talking about when do a VA disability rating become permanent. Going to go through some of the ways that the VA determines how and when a VA disability becomes permanent, pretty much static, permanent, whatever the case may be. If you like this type of content, as always, like, share, subscribe, comment down below, and hit the like button if you learned anything. And let's jump into it. So the question is, when do VA disability ratings become permanent? And there's a number of different ways in which this can occur. First method is if you're a veteran, you're service connected for any VA disability, whether it's PTSD, migraines, sleep apnea, sinusitis, PACT Act related, whatever the case may be. If you're service connected for a disability for more than 20 years, the VA cannot touch that disability. So when it comes to that, that's when that disability becomes permanent and static. And at that point, if the veteran doesn't have the permanent total designation on their 100% already, they can either put in a request or sometimes the system automated to process that veteran for that 100% permanent total status. And it prompts the system to, obviously send that veteran a notification, send them a decision letter, stuff like that, pretty much updating them on the benefits in which they'll be able to utilize, which are, some of those benefits are going to be CHAMP VA, pretty much medical benefits for your dependents, as well as Chapter 35 Dependent Education Program or Dependent Education Assistance. This is where your dependents will be able to take advantage of a GI Bill like stimulant, they'll get paid monthly, some type of stimulus. I believe it's $1,400 to $1,500 right now if they're taking full-time classes. And if your dependents are, that's a different video. But anyways, so moving on to the second thing. The second way a veteran can speed up that process for any disability that their doctor, hopefully, or themselves, they feel that they have a disability that's not getting better. You have to establish that with your doctor, whether it be at a VA medical facility or in a private medical world. You need to establish, they need to establish a baseline for your disability in the last 5 months or in the last 5 years. What has been the progress on a bilateral knee injury, or both, a bilateral knee injury, lumbosacral strain, whatever the case may be. What is the issue, and has it gotten better? If it hasn't, then okay, cool. That's the baseline. This veteran is always going to be in pain, and it's only progressively getting worse. It hasn't gotten better over the last 5 months or 5 years. So that's when they'll establish that baseline and set the permanency on that disability. And that permanency equates to static. You want your disabilities to become static in order to tap into that permanent and total benefit. Now, the third method is going to be if you're a veteran, you're service connected, regardless of whenever you do receive your benefits, but you need to maintain 100% until you reach the age of 55. Or even if you're not at 100%, once you hit 55 plus, your disabilities become permanent. Like that, your age establishes your baseline for all the disabilities that you're currently service connected for, as well as it should adjust the system to where if you're not at 100% and you're over 55 and you still plan on being in the VA disability claims process, you definitely want to not have to worry about something else. But there are some veterans who do have to deal with it still. Like I got a good friend of mine. He's like well over 55. I always reference him as, being Bill Cosby. Shout out to BC, you know what I'm talking about. And he's over 55, and when he got his 100%, he wasn't 100% permanent total. So there was definitely issues in the system. I'm not sure why it's prompting them otherwise, because he's clearly past 55. Old dinosaur, he's the king of the IBS client. But, definitely, you gotta, no claim is the same. No veteran is the same. No disability is the same. There's no blanket check for disabilities. But if you stay educated, as always, you stay educated about the VA disability claims process. If you get denials, use that as information and building blocks for that supplemental that hopefully you file within a year of that claim getting service connected or denied. I hope y'all know this. So, hey, definitely you got to keep that in mind. It's not a lot of information. It's very simple, very easy. The first method is if you hold a VA disability for longer than 20 years. The second method is if you understand and you know that you have a disability that hasn't gotten better over a specific amount of time, especially if you've been submitting claims for increases or submitting claims for first time or secondary disabilities, and the VA keeps knocking that claim down, now you're building evidence. Now you're going back to your doctor and you're like, okay, hey, I want to establish permanency. I'm like, okay, this veteran is definitely listening to somebody who knows the ins and the outs of the VA disability system. So, hey, don't make dollars, don't make sense. 2024, you're the vet. Definitely, you want to manage your claims, because if you're trying to obtain that permanency, you definitely got to be what? Going into your doctor, complaining. And if it's a specific disability that requires you to take diagnostic testing, physical therapy, large amounts of medication, you definitely want to make sure that, okay, hey, I've been doing all this for the last year. Nothing's gotten better. Establish a baseline. When you establish the baseline, you establish the permanency for that disability. So for those of y'all veterans who are trying to seek and push towards that 100% permanent total finish line, you definitely want to grab your VA rating code sheet. This is a sheet that shows all of your disabilities and which disabilities are considered static and permanent, and which disabilities are considered ongoing and fluent. Pretty much, you're going to have a future routine exam for those disabilities. And, don't wait until if you do for some of those disabilities, and for the future routine exams, obviously, it's going to be on a frequent basis, whether it be quarterly, semi-quarterly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually, whatever the case may be. But when you go in frequently and you go in outside of any scheduled, appointment for that specific disability in which you're service connected for, you're establishing that, hey, this injury, this disability is not getting better. So if it's not getting better, let's take the next step. Let's establish permanency. And if there's any benefits, I'm not sure if there's any medical benefits of establishing permanency. Like if you get increased treatment and care, possibly, it could be something that you look into. I'm gonna definitely look into as well. Follow up in the comment section. Leave a comment. But yeah, as always, y'all like this type of content, like, share, subscribe, share with a fellow veteran. And as always, this motherfucking D-ball, y'all stay Gucci with it. I know a lot of y'all watching the Olympics 2024. Hopefully, U.S. stays in front of Australia. I know it's a long-term feud between these two countries. I don't know why. But right now, the U.S., we're winning in the Olympics, and medals earned and held by our athletes. Dab it on it. As always, stay Gucci.